Hey Cowboys Nation, welcome to your ultimate destination for all things Dallas Cowboys. From the latest news, game analyses, rumors, to deep dives into player performances and strategies, we've got you covered. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a play. Let's dive into everything you need to know about America's team. The Dallas Cowboys have found themselves in a situation that has become almost comical to their rivals in the NFC East, yet the humor is wearing thin. For the star player caught in the middle, Micah Parsons, arguably the franchise's brightest defensive talent, is growing increasingly frustrated with the drawn-out negotiations over his contract extension. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers have already set a new standard for defensive player contracts by locking in T.J. Watt to the richest deal ever given to a non-quarterback, paying him an average of $14 million per year. This landmark contract has only added pressure to the Cowboys front office as they try to match or exceed that figure for Parsons, who has been deserving of such a deal for quite some time. Parsons didn't mince words when he recently appeared on the 6 Feet Under podcast, with WWE legend The Undertaker openly calling out Cowboys owner Jerry Jones and the organization for their slow and complicated approach to finalizing his contract. Parsons made it clear that he wanted to get the deal done last year, but was met with unnecessary delays and a frustrating lack of communication. This kind of foot-dragging has not gone unnoticed by the team's competitors, particularly the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders, who are undoubtedly hoping Dallas stumbles in its efforts to keep one of the league's premier defensive players happy and motivated. The reluctance of the Cowboys to lock Parsons into a long-term contract earlier was influenced by a number of factors, including existing negotiations with other key players, such as quarterback Dak Prescott and wide receiver C.D. Lamb. However, the consequence of waiting has been a steep increase in Parsons' market value, pushing the price tag well above $40 million annually and potentially surpassing even Watt's historic contract. Given Parsons' track record, over 50 sacks in his first 4 seasons, 3 All-Pro selections, and multiple finalist nods for Defensive Player of the Year, it's clear he's more than earned a contract that reflects his status as one of the game's most dominant edge rushers. Had the Cowboys acted sooner, when Parsons first became eligible for an extension, there was a chance to secure his services at a more reasonable rate, perhaps somewhere between $30 and $35 million per year. That would have given the team more flexibility to build a stronger roster around him, without sacrificing cap space. Unfortunately, the delays orchestrated by Jones and the front office have put Dallas in a position where they must now pay a premium just to keep their defensive cornerstone off the field as the Cowboys prepare to kick off their training camp in Oxnard, California. The roster battles have become another focal point for fans and analysts alike. While most starting spots appear set, there are still intriguing competitions and possible shakeups looming, especially for several veterans whose jobs may be in jeopardy should younger players prove their worth during camp. Damone Clark, a linebacker who showed promise with over 100 tackles in 2020, under defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, found himself relegated to a backup role last season. After Mike Zimmer took over, Clark's production dropped significantly, and with new additions like Kenneth Murray and Jack Sanborn joining the team, his spot on the roster is far from guaranteed. Early reports suggest he's been adapting well to the new defensive scheme under Matt Eberflus, but the crowded linebacker group makes his future uncertain. Defensive tackle Mozzie Smith, a first-round pick in the 2020 draft, has also faced scrutiny from fans and coaches alike. Despite his physical tools and potential, Smith has struggled to consistently impact games. Former assistant defensive line coach Greg Ellis has expressed doubts about Smith's fit within Eberflus' system, even suggesting the Cowboys consider trading him if rookie Jay Toya impresses enough in run defense. Smith's development will be closely watched, as his continued struggles could make him expendable. At tight end, Luke Schoonmaker, Smith's former Michigan teammate and a second-round pick in the same draft, has yet to live up to expectations as well, though he showed some growth in his second season with 27 catches over 100 yards and a touchdown. Schoonmaker remains a question mark heading into his 3rd year. The arrival of Brevin Spanford adds competition for the number to tight end role, and if Schoonmaker loses that battle, the Cowboys might look to move on from him as well. Perhaps the most surprising name on the trade radar is wide receiver Jalen Tolbert. Despite being a key target last season with 49 receptions, 610 yards, and 7 touchdowns, Dallas still acquired George Pickens, signaling they may not fully trust Tolbert's consistency. Analysts suggest that if Tolbert can't elevate his game to a reliable week-in and week-out contributor, he could be demoted to a third receiver role or even traded if younger wideouts like Jonathan Mingo, Ryan Flournoy, Paris Campbell, or rookie Tracian Holden show they can step up. All of these dynamic Parsons can track saga and the uncertain futures of several veterans. Paint a picture of a Cowboys team at a crossroads. They have immense talent, but face tough decisions as they try to maintain their status as contenders in one of the NFL's most competitive divisions. The NFC East rivals are watching closely, hoping Dallas struggles with contract negotiations and roster management create openings for themselves to challenge for supremacy. Behind all the headlines and drama, what remains clear is that the Cowboys cannot afford to fall behind now, especially with the cost of maintaining elite talent like Parsons only increasing. The front office's ability to navigate these challenges quickly and effectively will have a significant impact on the team's success in the upcoming season and beyond. With training camp underway and the regular season approaching, the pressure is mounting for Dallas to not just hold onto their stars, but to build a team capable of making a deep playoff run. As the Cowboys inch closer to the start of the 2025 NFL season, the tension within the organization is palpable. Training camp is not just about drills and conditioning, it's where futures are decided, especially for players on the cusp of the roster or facing uncertain contract situations. For Micah Parsons, the spotlight remains fixed, and the longer the contract talks drag on, the more it seems like the front office is willing to risk disrupting the team's chemistry and momentum. Parsons has proven repeatedly that he is not just a star, he is a game changer. His ability to pressure quarterbacks, disrupt plays, and make highlight reel tackles has made him indispensable on the Cowboys' defense. His sack total and accolades are proof enough, but it's his impact on the field that truly sets him apart. Yet despite his clear value, the Cowboys' hesitation to commit long-term has created a ripple effect throughout the locker room and the fan base. Trust and morale can easily be shaken when a player of Parsons' caliber feels undervalued or uncertain about his future. This contract saga doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's part of a larger story of the Cowboys' front office trying to balance star power with depth and flexibility. With the salary cap tightening and other key players demanding extensions or better deals, the Cowboys find themselves walking a financial tightrope. But history has shown that when it comes to locking in talent like Parsons, hesitation often leads to bigger costs down the road. Paying a premium to keep an elite player is one thing, risking losing him or watching him become distracted is another. Beyond Parsons, the roster battles unfolding in Oxnard will be just as critical. Linebacker Damone Clark's situation highlights the challenges the Cowboys face in developing young talent while trying to remain competitive. Clark's initial promise was undeniable, but the shift in coaching philosophy under Mike Zimmer and now Matt Eberflus has tested his adaptability. The arrival of veterans like Kenneth Murray and Jack Sanborn creates a crowded group, pushing Clark to prove that he still deserves significant playing time. His future with the team could hinge on how well he adjusts to the new system and whether he can consistently make plays when given the chance. Defensive tackle Mazi Smith's story is one of potential versus performance. Drafted high with big expectations, Smith has struggled to make a lasting impression. The scrutiny from fans and coaches is intense, and the possibility of a trade looms if he cannot establish himself as a reliable force on the defensive line. Rookie Jay Toya, fresh from college with a reputation as a stout run defender, adds pressure to Smith's spot on the depth chart. The Cowboys must decide if Smith's development curve aligns with their championship window, or if it's time to move on and give younger players a chance to shine. Luke Schoonmaker's journey mirrors Smith's in many ways. As a second-round pick, the expectations were high, yet Schoonmaker's production has been modest at best. His growth last season, including a touchdown and a respectable number of catches, showed promise, but questions remain about his role and consistency. Competition from Brevin Spanford adds uncertainty, and if Schoonmaker loses the tight end to roll, his place on the roster could be in jeopardy. The Cowboys have a history of quickly moving on from players who do not meet expectations, so Schoonmaker's performance in camp and preseason will be crucial. Wide receiver Jalen Tolbert's situation is perhaps the most surprising. Despite being a major target last season and delivering solid numbers, the Cowboys still felt compelled to acquire George Pickens, signaling doubts about Tolbert's reliability. Analysts and insiders have speculated that Tolbert's inconsistency, his inability to perform at a high level every down in every game, has put him on thin ice, while a reduced role as the third receiver might help him focus and improve efficiency. The presence of other young receivers like Jonathan Mingo, Ryan Flournoy, Paris Campbell, and rookie Trayshawn Holden means Tolbert's job is far from safe. The Cowboys are looking for dependability, and if Tolbert can't provide that, the team won't hesitate to explore trade options. All these individual stories feed into the broader narrative of a Cowboys team in transition. The front office must carefully navigate the salary cap, balancing the need to pay top talent like Parsons with the necessity of developing younger players who can grow into key roles. The pressure is immense because the NFC East has become an extremely competitive division. The Eagles and Commanders have made significant strides in recent years, and the Cowboys cannot afford to fall behind due to internal missteps. Jerry Jones' role in this drama has been scrutinized heavily. His reputation for being deeply involved in personnel decisions is well known, and his approach to contract negotiations often involves long drawn-out processes. While this strategy might be aimed at securing the best possible deal for the team, it can backfire when it causes friction with players or delays critical roster building. Parsons' public comments about the drag out of his contract talks highlight the downside of this approach. When a player feels undervalued or ignored, it can create distractions that hurt on-field performance. Moreover, the Cowboys' challenges extend beyond individual contracts and position battles. The team's overall strategy for roster construction is under the microscope. Balancing veteran experience with youthful energy is a delicate act. Investing heavily in one player, even someone as talented as Parsons, limits flexibility elsewhere. Yet failing to invest risks losing the very players who make the team competitive at the highest level. The Cowboys must find a way to thread that needle while preparing for a grueling NFL season, filled with injuries, momentum swings, and fierce competition. As camp progresses, every practice, every snap, and every play will matter. Players on the bubble like Clark, Smith, Schoonmaker, and Tolbert will need to seize their opportunities to prove they belong. For Parsons, the hope is that the contract negotiations reach a satisfying conclusion, soon allowing him to focus entirely on dominating on the field. Rather than worrying about his future, the Cowboys cannot afford to be distracted, especially with the stakes so high in their division and the pressure mounting to return to championship contention. In the end, the story unfolding in Dallas is a microcosm of the broader NFL landscape, where managing star talent, salary cap constraints, and roster depth requires a fine balance of patience, boldness, and savvy decision-making. The Cowboys' front office must learn from past missteps, act decisively, and communicate clearly with their players to avoid costly distractions. For a franchise with a storied history and passionate fan base, the margin for error is rather thin. With the regular season just weeks away, all eyes will be on Oxnard. Fans will watch not only for the flashy plays and exciting moments, but for the undercurrents shaping the team's future. The drama around Parsons' contract and the battles for roster spots will be central themes. Success in camp could set the stage for a strong season, while missteps could lead to another year of frustration and missed opportunities. Dallas knows the clock is ticking. The time to act is now. The way they handle these challenges could define their trajectory for years to come. It's a high-stakes gamble, but one that must pay off if the Cowboys want to reclaim their place among the NFL elite. The pressure is immense, the expectations sky high, and the margin for error non-existent. This season will reveal whether Dallas has what it takes to overcome adversity, manage its talent wisely, and compete at the highest level once again. The pressure mounting on the Dallas Cowboys is not just about contracts or individual battles. It's about the identity of a franchise that has long been synonymous with winning and championship aspiration. Micah Parsons embodies that identity. As much as anyone, a dynamic force who can change the trajectory of a game with a single play. His frustration with the prolonged negotiations reflects deeper tensions within the organization, where managing superstar talent often clashes with the realities of salary cap constraints and roster construction. Parsons has been clear in expressing his desire to settle his contract, a sentiment echoed by fans who want to see their star player fully committed and focused on football. The drawn-out nature of the talks has created an unwelcome distraction at a time when the Cowboys need unity and clarity more than ever. For a defense that relies heavily on Parsons' ability to generate pressure and make big plays, anything that takes his mind off the field could have ripple effects throughout the entire unit. Meanwhile, the Cowboys' approach to roster management has drawn mixed reactions. Some believe the front office is playing a cautious game, trying to keep their options open and maintain flexibility for the future. Others argue that this hesitation risks losing ground to rivals who have moved quickly to secure key pieces and build momentum. The NFC East is no longer a division where the Cowboys can assume dominance. The Eagles and Commanders have become legitimate threats, forcing Dallas to sharpen every aspect of their operation. Players like Damone Clark and Mozzie Smith represent the challenge of developing young talent within a highly competitive environment. Their futures depend not just on physical ability, but on mental toughness and adaptability to new coaching philosophies. The arrival of new coaches and teammates means that no player can take their role for granted. Every snap, every practice rep is an audition. For veterans like Luke Schoonmaker and Yalen Tolbert, the window to prove their worth is narrowing. The addition of younger players vying for those same spots creates a pressure cooker atmosphere, pushing everyone to elevate their game or risk being left behind. The front office's decisions in the coming weeks will send a strong message about the direction of the franchise. Choosing to prioritize long-term deals for stars like Parsons signals a commitment to building around proven talent. Conversely, trading or releasing veterans who have yet to meet expectations reflects a willingness to embrace change and invest in potential. Both approaches carry risks and rewards, but the key will be how these moves fit into a coherent strategy that aligns with the team's goals. Jerry Jones' involvement remains a double-edged sword. His passion and commitment to the Cowboys are undeniable, but his hands-on style sometimes leads to prolonged negotiations and internal friction. Balancing his influence with the input of coaches and the front office is crucial to maintaining harmony within the organization. Clear communication and decisive action will be essential as the Cowboys navigate these challenging waters. As training camp unfolds, the atmosphere in Oxnard will be electric. The players know that every practice counts, every mistake is magnified, and every opportunity to impress could mean the difference between starting the season on the roster or on the sidelines. For the fans, this is a time of hope and anticipation mixed with uncertainty about how the team will address its challenges and whether the pieces will come together in time to compete at the highest level. Ultimately, the Dallas Cowboys stand at a crossroads. Their legacy demands success, but achieving it requires careful management of talent, finances, and expectations. The coming weeks will test their resolve, their ability to adapt, and their commitment to excellence. Micah Parsons' contract situation is the headline, but the story beneath it involves the entire team and the organization's vision for the future. How they handle this critical juncture could define the next chapter in Cowboys history, setting the stage for either a return to glory or continued frustration in one of football's most storied franchises. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Whispers are growing louder around the league, and if they hold any truth, the Dallas Cowboys might have just pulled off one of the boldest moves of the offseason. Multiple unconfirmed sources are suggesting that star wide receiver DK Metcalf could be making his way to Arlington, reportedly finalizing a massive deal that would land him in a Cowboys uniform. While no official statements have been made by either the Seattle Seahawks or the Cowboys front office, insiders claim the agreement is all but signed, sealed, and delivered. Metcalf, known for his jaw-dropping athleticism and explosive playmaking ability, would instantly bolster the Cowboys' offensive firepower. Pairing him with CD Lamb could form one of the most dangerous receiving duos in the NFL. A nightmare for opposing defenses and a dream for quarterback Dak Prescott, who's long been seeking another elite target downfield.